All right, everyone, can you guys see my screen? Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Awesome. Thank you for joining us today for the very first inaugural Solutions Incubator Orientation Day. This is an initiative for Google Developer Student Clubs in partnership with different organizations that have been working with us. Google DSC, or Google Developer Student Clubs, is Google's initiative to empower students around the world and all professionals really to learn about developer and coder skills and to build more proficiency in problem solving and solving challenges. So that is where this whole idea came from. Every single year, Google has a program called the Solutions Challenge. It's a competition where students work together to solve a problem and then submit a working technical solution for that problem to Google. They've done this across over 800 of their chapters across the world at different universities. Google DSC McMaster is McMaster's chapter, and we happen to be, I believe, Ariba, we're one of the larger chapters in North America with over 300 participants, certainly one of the largest ones in Canada. And so we decided that we want to take a step further from that and actually create our own incubator program, an 8-week program where students will work in teams of 4. So the Solutions Incubator seeks to foster the greatest development community at McMaster. Our goal is to provide professional development to students regardless of their faculty or skill level in a collaborative learning environment. We want to produce the best product managers, UX designers, business analysts, and software developers. That's our goal. And one of the ways that we do this is through the Solutions Incubator, along with other initiatives that Google DSC McMaster has, such as Code Nights and Lead Code. So here is just a link to the Google Solutions Challenge. I will share that in the Slack. You guys will be able to, by the end of this program, submit all of your problems, sorry, not your problems, but your prototypes for the programs that you've developed to this program. So a little bit about our program structure. Each week we have a weekly workshop, which is meant to be attended as a group to complete in group activities. And each workshop is a new step in the development process. Along with that, you guys will be setting your own meeting times and meeting each week. And you can coordinate a time with your group to meet together and discuss your progress and your ideas and work together to find the solutions to your problems. As well as that, we have 4 mentorship calls throughout the program. We have a mentor for each role, and a calendar invite will be sent shortly. So all of this information is available in the program week-by-week schedule. Do you guys see the week-by-week schedule on my screen? Yes, awesome. So on the left-hand side, you guys can see the week and the workshop date and time. Underneath over here, it will say the event name and hosted by which organization, as well as a link to the Zoom meeting. And then along with that, on each of the roles, on the top you can see PM, Design, Dev, and BA. Each of the roles have deliverables that they have to complete each week. So they'll be doing these tasks. There are certain workbooks that have been assigned as well throughout the program. They'll be working through these workbooks too. And basically the idea here is that as you work through this program, you will be building your skills from scratch. We can teach you the skills that are necessary to be efficient, product managers, efficient technical business analysts, designers, and software developers. So here's a list of some of the workshops that we'll be hosting. We'll be doing a design sprint, some project planning, user interviews and validation, as well as 2 design thinking workshops. At the end, we'll have our incubator program product showcase. And at our showcase event, groups will pitch their product to industry mentors, recruiters, and program participants. And then we'll also have a speed networking opportunity for students to network with recruiters and really showcase the skills that they've developed. So what are our objectives? Once again, I wanted to say that we want to build or foster the most successful PMs, designers, developers, and business analysts. Our participants will learn how to identify problem spaces they're passionate about and produce an idea for something big. We want to allow these participants and our students to gain feedback from a network of industry mentors so that they really learn the professional skills used in industry, and they'll also be able to walk away with a real MVP using Google technology that they can then show to employers in the future or even potentially pursue as a startup. And if Riley joins us from the Forge, he can talk a little bit more about that very soon. So before I go any further, I know you're all excited to meet your professional mentors. So I'm going to ask each and every one of them to one by one introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their role and why they are passionate about what they're doing at their companies. So we'll start first with Afaf Ehtisham, Director of Engineering, DevOps, and Security at TWG.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you, Rick, for having me here as well. It's great to be back and kind of like doing something with McMaster. I'm from class of 2010. So at TWG, I've been there for about 4 years now, and as a director of engineering, kind of oversee the quality of our products that we're building for our clients, and helping to ensure that the engineering solutions that we build are pragmatic, not necessarily over engineer or anything, but what the business actually needs. Aside from my professional involvement, I'm also part of a few non-for-profit boards in the city of Hamilton, kind of providing advice and suggestions on how to integrate technology, especially in the COVID-19 space as we are in today and this past year as well, and how we can leverage technology to better serve the needs of our communities as well. So happy to be here and looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you, Afaf. And again, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us for this program and share your expertise. Next up, we have Pierce from also at TWG. And I'd like to call up Pierce to share a little bit about himself and why he's so passionate to be a product manager.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me here. Like Afaf was just saying, it's it's nice to be able to come back and help out engineering students at McMaster. I graduated McMaster Engineering in 2014, I believe, from the Electrical and Biomedical Engineering program. And I've been a PM for about, I guess it's a little over 3 years now. And I think the thing that I enjoy most about it is that PMs develop the skill sets to be able to really think about problems critically and solve a really wide variety of problems. You don't have to just focus on particular industries or skill sets. The things that you learn as a PM really allow you to work across any industry and solve a really wide variety of problems, which I think is my most favorite thing about working at TWG. I've worked in fintech, I've worked in healthcare, I've worked in real estate. So it's pretty cool that we get to work on a lot of different challenges. And from the sounds of things, there's a lot of different ideas that are being tossed around for this Solutions Incubator, and I'm really looking forward to working with the product managers here to help you all think through these ideas and build out some really solid concepts.
Thank you, Pierce. That was awesome. And once again, we appreciate having you with us. Next up, we have Leslie, account executive at Google. You got a short introduction to her at the very beginning. So please, Leslie, please introduce yourself. We'd love to hear from you. Leslie, I think you may be muted because we can't hear you right now.
Oh my. Still don't learn, right? This video. Hey guys, so nice, lovely to be here. I'm graduated in 2008 from electrical and biomedical engineering. Despite not taking kind of the social, the business side of engineering, I did know that I wanted to go into sales. I wasn't one that loved the labs, and I always tried to take kind of the presenter role when we had projects and such. So I don't know if anyone relates to that, but I've been working in sales now since 2008. So that's what, 12 years. Started in for Texas Instruments, selling semiconductor hardware to a variety of different companies. I worked in Toronto, I worked in Texas, I worked in Silicon Valley, and I worked in Vancouver and managed a big part of Canada and the Pacific Northwest. I also then joined an IoT startup downtown Toronto that was born out of Mars. And so enjoyed the startup world for a little while. And I've recently landed at Google as of September. I made a transition myself from selling to hardware companies, like hardware to software, which is a big change. And I, am happy to share in the future conversations about what that looks like. I love my job because I get to know a company very well. Oftentimes customers, my companies, my customers and clients comment on how I know their organization, their strategy better than they do. Specifically in my current role, we do a lot of selling to your C-level executives, your CEO, CTO, CIO, you know, and because it's a visionary transformation of companies that we're trying to help them transform, especially in this remote and digital environment. So pleasure to be here. I look forward. I'm going to be a business analyst. It's not a role that I've had in the working world, but I do believe and hope that I can provide some value to the team.
Absolutely. And once again, thank you, Leslie, for joining us. Next up, we have Tito, business analyst at BMO Capital Markets. Tito, if you're here, please take it away.
I'm here. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. And my name is Tito. I graduated from McMaster's Elec and Biomed program as well in 2016. I've been working at BMO for around 4 years now, actually. And I work as a business analyst there. I think my favorite part of the job is probably the fact that I get to make the systems that we design smarter, faster, more intuitive. I also love being the bridge between the subject matter experts who don't really have a lot of technical expertise and the developers who do all of the technical work but don't really understand the business rationale behind that. So I'm really looking forward to working with all of you and helping you out wherever I can.
Thank you, Tito. We really appreciate having you in this program as well. And finally, we have Edward, design verification engineer at Geotab. I'm not sure if he is here right now because he did tell me that he may not be able to attend, but you'll be seeing lots of him throughout the program. And I just wanted to say all of these mentors, all of our mentors here have kindly join the Slack workspace. So you will have access to them to be able to ask all the questions you'd like or share your resources, get your feedback from them throughout the program. But I kindly ask you guys to respect their personal space and their time as well, and not to message them at random times throughout the program or at night. Please don't message them at night. And that would be great because they're doing this of their own volition, and we just want to respect their privacy. Up next, we have our program supporters. And first up, we have Dr. Fleizik. You guys have all been introduced to him from the beginning. Associate Professor at McMaster University. I don't even need to say anything here. He's collaborating with us on behalf of the W. Booth School of Professional Engineering Practice. So I'd like to invite Dr. Fleizik. I believe he has a short presentation to share with us as well.
Well, welcome. I look a little younger in that picture, huh? That was a little while back. So I see it's amazing here to meet not only so many current students that may have seen me back in the fall during E1P13 lecture, but also so many past students. And I think it's a wonderful program that Google has put together. And thank you very much, Arib, for inviting me here. So I'll be doing a couple of workshops for you around design thinking. And I'm going to do a read. I'm going to try to keep this to 10 minutes. So I have a little presentation to do. It's really a story. So we're going to keep it really simple to give you an idea of what design thinking is and what you might just learn from the couple of sessions we're going to run. Is it possible to share my screen? It is.
Yep, yeah, there you go.
Okay, so that works? Okay. So a very brief introduction. So it's going to be a story and just a couple of sort of takeaways from that story. So they're my coordinates. If you're looking for my details, not hard to find me. Just need my last name and McMaster, and you'll easily be able to locate me via Google. All right. So let me tell you a little bit of a story. So I'm going to tell you about a project three of my students did a couple of years ago. And the reason I tell this story is because of what they did and how they did it and how they approached this kind of design work. And there's a couple of things I think is going to surprise you, right? So they worked, in this particular case, this was a graduate level course. The students were told, you got to do 2 projects in this course, and you got to do them with somebody outside the university. And they met up with this young woman here, Sandy Mugford, who has had rheumatoid arthritis for the past 50 years. That's right, 50, since she was 11 years old. And rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease that where the body attacks the joints, and it's very painful. And it's a long-term pain. She's lived with chronic pain for 50 years. So their job, I didn't tell them what to design. I didn't even tell them what the problem is. I said, go talk to people and learn and listen. And so they sat down with her in the first meeting. They got to know her a little bit. They said, this is who we are. She bought into it and said, I spent a bit of time with you. Second meeting, they sat down and said, can we talk about what is it that we want to look at? Where is something, what it is did you ever do that you have challenges with? And there's no shortage of challenges. And what's important to you? And they identified a very important but very mundane thing she does on a regular basis, grocery shopping. And then using some of the kind of techniques we showed the students, they spent quite a bit of time with her, getting her to walk through her experience of going grocery shopping. And you can imagine something as simple as just picking up a can off the top shelf is going to be very difficult for her, right? So there's no shortage of problems, if you like. But what we're looking at the students is actually go a little deeper and find something that was less obvious and was a bit insightful. And they're walking with her through this and talking and talking. And one of the students says, wait, Sandy, there's something very strange about your story. Why is it that you go to a grocery store with your car and you bring your own grocery cart, not using one at the store? Why would you do that? And she looks at them and says, but that's what I've always done, as far as I can remember. And then they kind of ask a couple more follow-up questions, and then you go, but are you sure? And because every now and use the cart, oh, yeah, I think I did try it once. Okay, can you tell us about that? And so she walks them through it, getting the cart, selecting the groceries, putting the cart, going to the other checkout, taking the the groceries out, putting them in bags, putting them back in, paying for it, taking the groceries back to her car, loading the cart, and then returning the cart. And then she says, oh, now I remember. I went to return the cart, and this is what happened. It's a coin-operated cart. And as it turns out, the coin, when it's inserted in the lock here, leaves a little tiny sliver of the coin is available to her to grip. And for someone with rheumatoid arthritis, that's particularly difficult, right? So she's got the cart there. She's trying to get her coin back. Right? It's hers. And she's trying and trying, and she's persistent. She's not someone that gives up easily. But as she's doing this, people behind her get pretty annoyed because she's in the way and they want to go do their grocery shopping. And it turns out at the end, some people said some not so pleasant things, and she felt quite embarrassed that she couldn't have done this simple task. Her independence was critically important to her. All right? So this was about 3 meetings and 2 or 3 hours of interviewing to find one little piece of tacit knowledge. Right? That little story is what the rest of the project's about. So from there, that insight drove the rest of the project. So they went through some basic design techniques, building criteria, looking at some ideas, and then coming up with some ideas and some sketches. Now, just keep in mind, one of the 3 students on this team is an industrial designer who is quite good at sketching. So don't feel bad if you don't sketch like this. All right. And so they tried some ideas out, and I'm going to go through these slides pretty quickly. Some more ideas, and then they go back to her and they sit down with her and walk her through what the idea was. So it isn't simply get the problem, go solve it. You continued working with the client, right? Then they got into building what they're called low fidelity prototypes. So this is a cardboard prototype. It really wouldn't work properly, wouldn't be able to actually grip that coin as needed, but you can see it's made out of corrugated cardboard, and there's a little pin here to provide a pivot. And they tried some more ideas, lots more ideas, all right? And they kept going back to her. And after looking at a whole lot of stuff, they tried something a little more, with a bit more commitment in terms of time. And they actually printed a bunch of different ideas using a 3D printer. And they went back to her with those ideas as well to get some feedback, and ultimately picked something like this, which essentially is a coin with a handle. So she could insert that into the cart without using her own coin and have an easy way to pull it out again, right? And the students then in their final sort of stage, when they were kind of committed to that idea, they actually went and milled one of these components right out of a solid piece of aluminum. And that's what it looked like. All right. All right. So this is a slightly more human-centered approach to designing. And what makes it different? So here's actually a kind of thing, a tool I asked them to fill in. They show project progress across the bottom, sort of linear time, and across, and the axis on the left is sort of ambiguity. How uncertain am I about where I am in my project? And you can see as they move forward, the initial stages, the more they heard from her, the more they realized they didn't know much, and the more it expanded their possibilities. And at some point down here, they ran into something else that further made their projects more ambiguous. Right? Very typical in design. Sometimes we have to go backwards in the process, right? And what I show the students is essentially a process and a mindset. The process stuff is easy to learn. Some of the skills are not so easy to learn. And the mindset's a really hard part. How do I see things through the eyes of the user and not through my own? And not just in terms of what they don't like, but rather what their motivations and values are, right? And through this process, when we work in this way, we work frequently with stakeholders, not just once, not just at the beginning, but oftentimes deep into the process, right? Our goal in many of these cases, in many of these kinds of projects, is to design human experience more so than the device. The device is almost a way of supporting a new human experience, right? Value is created oftentimes from insights, not necessarily invention. So getting an insight, learning something new or surprising about your user is oftentimes one of the most important areas of creativity. Prototypes we use early and often, right? In my mind, a sketch is a form of prototype. A storybook could be a prototype. A wireframe could be a prototype, right? And we test not just its feasibility, but how desirable is it? How is it viable from an organizational business point of view, as well, of course, its functionality ultimately, although you typically leave that later, right? Testing with the prototypes is oftentimes a discovery process. This is a little hard from an engineering point of view sometimes to get. We actually sometimes go in with the expectation we're going to learn something new, not necessarily just tell us validate or verify what we already think we know. Right? We try, like I said, different fidelity prototypes. We try very low commitment, low risk prototypes early, and stuff like the milled prototype is only at the end, which would have cost a lot of time and effort to do, right? It's process highly iterative. Right. And at the end of the day, design is not just the outcome, but it's an accumulation of ideas and knowledge. Oftentimes, much of that ideas and knowledge is actually about the understanding of our user or stakeholders. And lastly, we work collaboratively. This is not an individual pursuit. This is something you work with others, and we actually teach students how to work together in a way that you're actually building on each other's capabilities and ideas, not simply dividing up a task and working separately. Right. So you're going to see me in a couple of workshops over the next few weeks. We're going to show you a few ways how to talk to people, and then how to think through prototyping in this sort of human-centered way.
Thank you, Dr. Fleisig. That was fascinating. I really appreciate you taking the time to share that with all of us, and we're really looking forward to learning about design thinking and the process of design thinking and human-centered design in the next few weeks with you. And next up, we have Riley from the Forge McMaster, our friendly neighborhood incubator program. So I'd like to invite Riley up to share a little bit about the Forge and about his role, as well as part of our partnership here at with Google DSC. If you're there.
I'm here. How's
Awesome.
it going, everyone? Pleased to meet you. My name is Riley Moyens. I'm the incubator manager at the Forge. And actually, very interesting that we had Robert go before me. Thank you for being a champion of design thinking. That's exactly what we do at the Forge as well, and actually where my expertise is as well. So a lot of what I do at the Forge is help my clients, who often come to me with solutions, searching for problems. I like to reverse engineer the process, and we get back to focusing on the problem, and then we work through the process as Robert was explaining. you know, the majority of my job is, you know, among other things at the Forge, now I'm doing some business development, you know, figuring out partnerships and perks for our companies and deciding who makes it into the incubator and into some of our programs. But on top of that, it's working with our clients. So, you know, mentoring them on a daily basis. I do have a short presentation. I'm going to try to blast through it here, but if you don't mind, I'll share my screen, and if I can find out where my PowerPoint is, give me one sec. There we go. All right, the Forge. Thank you, Arib. Your friendly community incubator. That's for sure. At the Forge, I mean, we used to have this beautiful physical space. We still technically have it. We're not getting a whole lot of use out of it right now. Really hoping to be back. The community is fantastic, right? So we've got all these companies working together to forward their goals together. So the Forge, we're a startup incubator. We're linked with McMaster University. We are the only incubator in Hamilton. We're actually partnered with the Innovation Factory, which is the accelerator. And I can, on another call, I'll explain to you the differences there, but we're actually in the same space at the McMaster Innovation Park. Kind of one of our goals is supporting entrepreneurship and innovation on campus. And we help early stage entrepreneurs build scalable businesses, right? I think that that's probably pretty standard. One of the things that is a little bit less standard is we actually don't take any equity. Unlike a lot of incubators that you'll find even across Canada, but mainly in the US, that's not one of our things, right? We're here, we're paid for by McMaster University. Our general goal is to create amazing startups, and we do that in a number of ways that I'll get into. Our programs are free for everyone. In fact, if you're part of the incubator program, which is a little bit of our later stage programming, we actually provide you with a little bit of cash. We've got a reimbursement program that we have for our companies. What's interesting is the breakdown of our companies. Mainly we're software and mobile apps. So a lot of what we do is digital media, ICT, and actually the way that we're marketed on campus is very tech oriented. I'm actually trying to get away from that, okay? Really what we're looking for is your idea innovative and is it scalable? Okay, innovative, it's pretty standard. Can we attach some IP? Can we attach some trade secrets? Is this, if it's software, you're not gonna have really either one, but is it something that's, you've got some sort of differentiation versus your competition? And scalability, we kind of define this as, can we, for example, grow our business? Let's say that if we wanted to go from 10,000 users to 100,000 users, would we have to grow our staff and our infrastructure at the same rate, okay? If we have to do that, we're not a scalable business. But I mean, we can be anything from a medical device to a consumer good. We've got a company right now, they sell teething soothers for babies and children that have sensory issues. And they're a consumer good. They're not really tech, right? But they're a scalable company because they're manufacturing a product, right? If they got 10,000 orders, they can take care of that right now. If they were to go to 100,000 orders, they'd maybe have to bring on maybe 5, 10 more people in order to fulfill those orders. That's a scalable business. They hire a little bit more staff, but can serve so many more orders or people. So that's kind of what we're looking for in companies that are applying for our programs. 67, another amazing stat, 67% of our startups are led by McMaster University students and alumni. And we're actually sector agnostic, right? So you can see our pie chart over here. We do a lot of medical device. We do a lot of Internet of Things, consumer products. advanced manufacturing, but mainly it's software that we're working on. But if you think that you're a scalable, innovative company, please apply for our programs. And if for some reason you don't fit, we'll tell you why, and we'll give you those resources that you need to take your company forward. We've been around since 2015. So far, we've incubated over 250 businesses, which we're super stoked to have been able to do. We've helped raise $35 million for our companies that we've incubated. Their products are in 50 countries, and we've helped create 500 jobs. And over here on the right, we've got a bunch of our famed companies that have gone through our programs. Nix color sensor, they're available on Amazon right now to buy. They're one of the highest caliber color sensors on the market, and it helps people who are trying to match paint in their houses, among other uses. We've got Mariner Endosurgery, which is just killing it right now. They've just finished their human trials, and they make a laparoscopic surgery tool. So, you know, pretty wide breadth of companies that we work with. We offer cohort-based programming, unlike, and I'll give you a little hint at the kind of differences between an incubator and accelerator, but ours are cohort-based programs where we kind of walk you through step by step how to start a business, and we expect you to hit certain milestones along the way. One of our, I'm going to get into it in another slide, but one of the things that we're stoked about right now is our Startup Survivor program, which is brand new. We're going to be giving away 100 grand, which we're really happy to do. And I'll, like I said, I'll get into it a little bit more, but right now we're kind of doing a rolling application process for that, where we're actually going to do some of the customer validation and discovery workshops that I'll be actually doing for the for this event at a later date. But we've got those running from now until the summer when our program starts, and I've got some dates on another slide for you guys. Startup School, that's another program that we run. We're going to be running that in the fall, and that's for really early stage companies. Do you understand your program, your problem, sorry? Do you understand the solution that you're putting forth? How do you test that in the market? That's kind of where we're helping you out, and we're going to also be bringing in some people to talk about all the other aspects of business, like fundraising, like insurance, like some of that stuff that's kind of boring, but super important if you're a company. And then of course the premier is our business incubator. We provide 8+ months of incubation to companies who satisfy the requirements and are able to get in. In order to apply for the incubator, you actually have to be at a prototype stage, early market traction stage, in order to apply for that. So I think I might have, oh, I changed the date. Perfect. Startup Survivor, guys. This is brand new. What we noticed that we were, for one of our summer programs, we were just kind of giving away all this money up front to companies. And I came in and I said, why are we just giving away money? Like, do these companies follow through with going through the whole program all summer, and at the end are we left with anything? And not really. We don't see a lot of traction. So I'm like, why are we giving away this money? Let's challenge our companies to get to certain stages of their company development, and then we release cash. So that's what we're doing in Startup Survivor. You're going to go through a whole bunch of different challenges, and if you complete each challenge, we're going to give you a chunk of change that you can walk away with. But we're also going to give you some points based on a rubric that we're developing. And if you complete a challenge, you get a whole bunch of, you get a good grade on it, so to speak. At the end, we look at all the challenges you've completed. We look at the grades you've gotten. And if you are one of the top 3 companies, we're going to put you through to a pitch competition as well. And that's where you get an opportunity to win even more cash, potentially 40 grand. We're actually just kind of working out the minutia of how the prizes are going to work. But have a look at our website, guys. This is for early stage companies. So if you get into if you do something fantastic with this, Google Incubator, we encourage you to apply for the Summer Survivor program. And like I said, there's a rolling application right now. You can apply right now on our website. It's also virtual. Okay, guys, that's about it for me. I hope I didn't go over my allotted time there, Reeb. Sorry if I did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I don't know if we have time for questions, or you can email me. Unfortunately, I didn't include my email address, which is my bad. I'll just put that in the chat, and if anybody wants to email me, they can do that as well.
If you guys have any questions for Riley as well, feel free to either message in the chat as well. We do have a little bit of time for him to get into it. And thank you, Riley, for sharing so much information about all the wonderful things the Forge is doing. And I'd really like to emphasize that this Google Solutions Incubator program will prepare you guys really well for, like, it will be a step towards the startup survivor. And if you're successful in creating a working prototype and you're interested in pursuing your idea as a startup, then you can even apply for their business incubator program, granted that you create a prototype. So thank you, Riley, for sharing that. Now I just wanted to get into the team structure before you guys all go off and meet all of your team members. So each team, like I said before, has one product manager, one technical business analyst, one UX designer, and 3 software developers. Each of the roles have weekly tasks that they need to complete. And over the course of that, 8-week period, they'll be learning about the role. So you don't necessarily need to have the technical skills and know-how about the role that you're in. The whole idea behind this program is that we will prepare you for your role over the course of the program. And the other thing I wanted to mention is a lot of you guys were interested in multiple roles. You applied for software development as well as product management, amongst others. So if you guys want to get the exposure of another role, feel free to help the individual on your team that is doing that role. You can assist them with their task. All of the non-dev roles can help out with software development and coding the prototype. That is completely fine. And in fact, we encourage that because it will foster greater learning for yourself. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that we'll be using Slack as our main application for communication. This will have all of our announcements, our meetings, and our small internal events. Along with this, you'll be getting your calendar invites for all of the workshops and the mentorship calls, which will also be posted, by the way, in the week-by-week schedule over here. So wherever you see the workshops, you'll have a link over here underneath with the link to the Zoom channel for that. Discord, we also, Google DSC McMaster has a Discord, so if you are on that, that is fine. If you want to communicate in a less formal manner with your team members there, that is completely fine. You can reach incubator organizers such as myself, Luke, Ariba, or any of the VPs on either platform or even by email. The other thing I wanted to mention before we break out into our breakout rooms is our challenge spaces. So for the inaugural Solutions Incubator program, our challenge space is going to be Our Future Hamilton, which is the city's new 25-year community vision. And basically what it's about is that it features 6 community priorities that the city of Hamilton has derived from interviewing and talking to over 55,000 residents of the city of Hamilton. So all of these priorities are areas of community engagement, economic prosperity, public health, safety, environmental responsibility, infrastructure, culture, and social diversity. So a link to the Our Future Hamilton website is in the program guide, and you will also, which you received in your emails. And the whole idea behind the Solutions Challenge is to find a community problem that you feel is relevant and create a technical solution for that. So if you feel that one of these areas that I just listed don't necessarily fit the community problem you had in mind, that is completely fine. You can also bring your own community problem and take that forward with your team as a project. All right, I promise this is the last thing that I'm going to say. We have one of our developers, Abdul Rahman, who has developed an iOS application. It's called Evento. It's for event management. So some of our events will also be posted on Evento. If you guys have an iOS device, please download it. I will ask Abdul Rahman to share some information about that.
Hey guys. So my name is Abdurrahman. I'm currently a third year electrical engineering student, and I just wanted to share the app I created, and then let me just share screen. All right. So as you see here, so basically the way it works is you're gonna be able to view the event schedule, details, and basically any announcements that they have. And so it's all in one organized place. And you'll also, in the next update, you'll be able to join Zoom meetings with the app. So once you download the app, you can just type in the event code, which is DSC. And then you'll be able to see each day's events. So some days only have one, but some days have 2 sessions. And you'll also be able to create your own bookmark your favorite the events you want to attend, and so you'll be able to see so the events, create your own schedule basically. And you can also view the details regarding each session, so the speakers, and then you can see the description, so the deliverables, what exactly the event is going to have, the timing and stuff. And if there are any announcements like event changes or like schedule changes or just any announcements, really, you'll be able to see it here. And if you have any feedback or if you see any bugs, please message me. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdulrahman. And so now I'm going to break you guys off into your breakout rooms. You guys are free to go into the breakout rooms. They're numbered by your team numbers. So if you are team 1, please go to breakout room number 1. If you're in team 12, please go to breakout room number 12. Get to know your teammates and ask about the theme areas, the challenge areas that you guys are interested in working on, and try to figure out a time that you guys can meet for your weekly meetings. Thank you, and have a great day, guys. I'll keep the Zoom meeting open for the next hour for you guys to be able to meet with each other in the breakout rooms.